Ever wish you had someone to talk to anytime, anywhere, no matter what you're going through? Meet PsychPal, your 24/7 AI companion designed to help you process your thoughts, calm your mind, and keep you moving forward. Chat anytime during a panic attack, on a restless night, or just when you need to vent. Prefer talking instead of typing? Try voice journaling. PsychPal listens, transcribes, and truly understands. You can even upload screenshots of tough conversations, and it'll help you unpack how they made you feel. PsychPal keeps life organized too. It can add appointments to your calendar, track your mood, and even summarize your sessions for your therapist so you'll never lose progress. Plus, built in crisis resources are always just one click away. It's a privacy first, constantly evolving, made to complement your professional care, not replace it. Ready to try it out? Head over to the link in this episode and use my code Pete at checkout to get 20% off your first month subscription to PsychPal. PsychPal, because your mind deserves a companion too. That's how you want less. I don't want to be more, but no, I will not. You can try it no more, just so you can hear my try. All the times that I'm so good, still got my pedal through the metal. Told you I'll be a local, that's how you want less. I don't want to be normal, so you can stay inside. That's why they say that you're local. You see, this world is mine. I'm not leaving you hope for them time. I'm taking more than working. I will show them one more, so that's how you one last time. I don't know what's so hard, can you get it through your mind? Welcome into another exciting episode of Pete vs. Anxiety. Before we get started today, I want to give a shout out to my partners from PsychPal. Guys, check out my link in the bio. 20% off on your first month subscription if you use my code Pete at checkout. With that being said, we're going to introduce our guest today. He's the one, the only, the Flat Tire Andy, right along with me podcast host, Andy himself. Andy, say hello, everybody.
What's up, Pete? Hello, everybody.
Andy's been crying for a couple weeks, said he wants to be in the studio with me.
It's just that I had you on my podcast twice.
Twice.
You know what I mean?
Anyways, Andy, so why don't you tell everybody about a little bit more about yourself?
Just family man, 3 kids. Had a full custody of them since they were little. I mean, for the past 14 years now, I've had full custody of them. Originally from Oxnard, California, over here in what they call Ventura County. I left the nice coast breeze to come to a freaking hot temperature room area where I have to record my podcast at early in the morning so that it's not so hot in here. I am now in LA County, San Gabriel Valley is what they call it. And if for some of you that know California, I'm not that far from West Covina, which is a city or two away. I've been in sales for the past 12, going on 13 years. I love what I do. As for the podcast, I'm sure we're going to get into that, but it started off with me sharing stories with my uncle, and he decided he planted it in my head, like, dude, you have a lot of stories, you beat the odds, you should start a podcast. And I sat on that idea for a few months, and then one day the Flat Tire podcast was born, and I've been going strong since April of 2020. I mean, strong compared to you, Pete. Strong. To me, this is more of a hobby, and I only do it once in a while.
Why do y'all do that to me? You're like, well, not like you, Pete. And I'm like, I can't help it. People just want to talk to me, man. I'm like, everybody wants to say conversation with me and say something to me about something, you know. But no, man.
You post episodes every 3 a week.
3 days a week, yes, sir. We're 3 days a week now. We used to be 5 days a week live, though. Remember that?
You did. I noticed in the beginning when I first started following you on Instagram, you were live like every day, and I'm like, this guy don't have a live.
Yeah, thanks for calling me out. I appreciate it, though. But anyways, Andy is a really good friend of the show. Me and Andy met the first time we had a conversation. Dude, what were we, like 2.5 hours long? We were just going at it for a while. You know, and I loved Andy's questions, though, because he was really in depth. He sent me a list of them, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't even look at them. I was like, yeah, let's just go for it. Why not?
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, cool. Because you got to trust the host in these situations. If it's good, he can handle this situation. We're going to go. And we did great, though, man. But you're here now, man. Why don't you tell everybody about some of your struggles, yeah? You know, I know you've dealt with mental health issues yourself, and I know we've mentioned it during our interviews a few times when we've had these conversations.
Well, it all started when I was a little boy. I never knew my father. No, I grew up in a, very negative environment. Obviously, as you grow up, you start putting pieces of the puzzle together, and we'll probably get to that later on. But I grew up in a very negative environment. My mom had kids stacked up on top of each other. She I pretty much started raising my siblings at a young age. I learned how to cook at a very young age. To this day, I've mastered the art of pancakes that everyone loves, bro, because I had to learn how to cook at a very young age. Um,
This man said pancakes. He's like, I just,
I've
hey, listen, I've
mastered it,
mastered
bro.
pancakes.
I've
Like, if you
mastered it,
can't
bro.
make pancakes, I think I need you to stay away from my stove,
The
okay?
the the reason why I say that is because one day my sister came to visit, bro, for Christmas a couple years ago, and I met her family for the very first time because again, at 18, and we'll get there later on,
Yeah.
she did, bro. She not only left the house, she left the state. And I didn't see her for 13 years, so when she came to visit, I'm meeting my nieces and nephew for the very first time. I'm meeting her husband for the very first time. And they're staying with us. What's the cheapest meal to make? Pancakes. So I got fancy with the pancake. I put banana in the pancake mix and yada yada. Made the pancakes. My oldest niece loved them so much that she bragged about my pancakes for about a year that her dad did not make her pancakes for said year. I'm a freaking jealous hater bastard.
Well, you're also a
And
Cowboys fan. You need to add that part in, so it makes sense. The
you want to
saltiness is there.
you
You
want to
guys haven't won anything in a
look at
while.
that. You want to see, I can move my camera around, but as you can see, I got stuff there.
Oh, I know. I've seen it before.
Oh, we didn't have a what you would call a normal childhood.
Yeah.
At when I was, I believe, I'm assuming it was 89. Hey, that was not my phone. 89, we got taken away. I'll wait for you. Want me to wait for you? This must have been important.
Yeah. Sorry.
Um, in 1989, we ended up getting taken away from her because she left us home alone for about what the report said 2 hours, right? But when she stated only 15 minutes, but the report said 2 hours. Then we ended up being in a foster home. Ended up being in a foster home, and we ended up living with my grandma. After that, we ended up living with my grandma for about 2 years. And so we were in the foster, obviously the foster care system. And when I was like I said, maybe the first, second grade, I ended up going back to live with her. And which what my grandma reminded me to this till the day she died was the biggest mistake of my life. You're a kid. You're supposed to love your mom. You're supposed to believe everything your mom says. Your mom is supposed to be your role model. Everything she says. And so when they asked me, where do you want to live, and I'm like, well, I want to go back to my mom's. And big mistake, because then the trauma started, the childhood bullshit. You know,
And you didn't see any signs of this. So now that looking back at it, did you notice any signs that you may have missed? Obviously, because you're a kid at the time, you don't know better.
you don't
So
know.
were there things that you caught on to now that you know with the information you know now, looking back at it, do you realize like where you should have just been like, no, I don't want any part of this?
Looking at it now, yeah, 100%. I was like, why didn't I just stay with my grandma? But, again, as you get older and you start talking to the siblings that did stay with my grandma, then you realize maybe I should have just stayed in the foster home forever. But yeah, no, like I said, it started off with like a lot of verbal abuse, which again, you see that as normal, insults left and right. You're never good. I was never good for you, mother. um, Sorry guys, I quote movies left and right. I just did the cable guy. Anyways, the verbal abuse, the beat downs, the freaking getting hit with the iron, getting hit with the cord, getting hit with the broom, getting a broom broken on your back, and then asking me to go buy another one. Yeah, it's again, it got to the point where the corporal punishment made me laugh because at that point I was immune to the fucking beatdowns. But the gaslighting, what we didn't know back then, what gaslighting is now, the gaslighting, like I still struggle with triggers and like mental health because of like example. My wife called, we were on the phone yesterday, and she tells me, we're talking about the lawn. My 17-year-old is on spring break. So he was like, I made him cut the grass, and I'm like, shit, I could have done that when I got home. And then she said, but would you like kind of questioning it? And I took that personal. I'm like, are you assuming that I'm effing lying? Like, are you serious? You know? So I'm like, so I kind of got upset with her with, and I told, and I hung up on her, and it maybe like an hour later, I text her, I didn't even know why that pissed me off. So what I learned in therapy is obviously triggers, but now
Yeah.
it seems like the word triggers is getting thrown out there like
A lot of
every
words
day.
like they get thrown out there. I
Yeah,
think
it's like
narcissist gets thrown around a lot. Everything else, everybody playing the victim, people taking their suicidal thoughts and using it as a victim, being a victim mentality for that too. They just want attention. All these things happen, and it's always somebody that's ruining it for everybody. You know, the people out there really saying these things, are really telling you these things, are being told that, oh, you're just playing the victim card. Well, no. Did they ever ask for sympathy? No, they're just telling you how they feel. You know, it's how you look at the situation. Like, are they looking for attention? Are they just really telling a story, not saying anything else? You know, and I think that's where a lot of this stuff gets muddled with social media now. Because remember, we grew up in the '90s, man. We didn't have all this shit. We had AOL. That was it. You had the telephone. You had to see many persons. Only ways you had a way to communicate with people. AOL, very minimum, because you were in a populated group setting of a chat rooms. You know, so in things like that too. And it was a very basic beginning. And then, we went to MySpace and then, yeah, what was it? No, yeah, MySpace. MySpace. I'm thinking of, yeah. Remember,
MySpace.
because we used to have our MySpace pages and things like that. That was the next evolutionary step of it. And then you introduced Instagram, and then all these other things just started popping up after that. When that happened, a lot of the stuff is just like it made your reach even longer. So now you can play keyboard warrior and say whatever you want. You didn't have to hold accountability to what you were saying to people because no one knows who you really are. Because you could have a fake picture up, and just like we see on TikTok all the time, all these people with fake pictures come in saying wild things and saying these obscure things to you because they think it's funny or it's cute, or these kids get on there and they start doing that too. But it's like, the message that we're sending these guys now is not good because if you think about it, they're seeing so much information so fast. They have Googles and all these other things. We had used to have to use encyclopedias, man. They would never survive all that.
Yeah. It's funny as I was just it's funny you bring up MySpace. I was having a conversation with my son just a couple of days ago because on my car, my Camry, it has like the map and then it has like four different contacts, like your favorite contacts. So I went on a whole freaking history on MySpace and how you only had the
No.
the four friends and then top eight, then
And then
once it got to
Tom was your best friend always. Remember, Tom was
every
always your
time
best
Tom was
friend.
your
Yeah.
best friend. So I was just telling him that he was like, after even he said it after 40. What was the point exactly? Like it didn't have the meaning behind it anymore of being
Yeah.
the top friend. Like now, oh well, I didn't make top 40. Like that doesn't sound top 10 maybe, but top 40 that doesn't have the same taste to it, same ring.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And everybody started arguing who's your top people. Why am I not your top people? And we're like, that's the arguments we had. And then
Right?
what do we have? We introduced AOL Instant Messenger after that at MSN. Then you had the messaging things where you message each other during class because we had a lot of computers at that time. So we
Yeah.
all were trying to figure ways to have secret conversations. But, and people like that just start talking to each other randomly, and things like that. But it's just MySpace. God, dude, I remember that. Remember, we all thought we were cool when we put the music on our page too. So like, oh yeah,
Dude,
just put the music on there.
MySpace created generations of tech people, or what do you call it?
Hmm.
Designers, because
Hmm.
dude, you would spend hours and hours custom making the custom fixing it,
Yeah.
um, your layout, your page. And I remember going on multiple websites and creating codes with my own images and everything just to be able to have this badass fucking layout. And so I honestly, MySpace, I feel that's what started my like photoshopping skills, because now we take family group photos. Hey, so and so had her eyes closed. Don't even trip. I'll take care of that. I'll use one photo to fix the other photo. And hey, man, on this photo she had her eyes open, but on this photo she had her eyes closed. Everyone else is good except for her. So I don't need ChatGPT to help me Photoshop family photos that can get printed and put on walls. Oh shit, I photoshopped that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was the great thing about Photoshop is that you could do a lot of that editing stuff like that too. A lot of websites were built that way too in the beginning. You could literally piece together one and sit there and put it in there in parts and everything. Go to what was it, GoDaddy at the time, and then what was their Go Live or whatever their version was of a website builder, and or the coding version is what everyone else do coding. Well, it's like a lot of us aren't learning all that code. We might as well go with the quick and it makes more sense just to go that way.
Yeah, and it was fun times, man. Like Facebook is nowhere near close to what MySpace was.
So my concern obviously is: are you worried about some of the kids going on Facebook and things like that, the younger ones?
You know what? The reason why my boys don't even have Facebook is because they feel that Facebook is too unk.
Okay, well, there's
Well,
Instagram, there's TikTok.
they have
But you know what I'm saying, like in general, in the
they have
idea.
I mean they have Instagram only because they follow family. Like my oldest got Snapchat because the family likes to post videos of the kids on Snapchat only. They feel like it's more safe because everything deletes after 24 hours. So most of the stories are of the kids are on Snapchat. So I rarely post on Snapchat, every once in a while, but obviously I created the podcast page, Instagram page, and that's where I spend most of my time.
Yeah.
Because I rarely post stories on Instagram. I rarely post anything on Facebook. When I see something funny, then I'll post it. Like example, WrestleMania 39. They came to SoFi, which SoFi is only like 20 miles from here, which is like a 30-minute drive.
God, that would have been great.
Dude, I posted watching WrestleMania, and an old boss of mine saw my post and asked me, "Do you want to go to tomorrow's event?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Hell yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
he gave me 2 tickets for WrestleMania Sunday night, and we ended up going. So like to me, Facebook has its goods and its bads, I guess.
yeah.
And that day, by me just posting watching WrestleMania, I got 2 tickets, 2 free tickets to go watch the Sunday
I,
night.
I think I think it has its positives and its negatives, obviously. And it's how you use it is really what it comes down to. I think, well, me and Uncle Jimmy were talking about this one week. I think we talked about this a little bit during our episode a little bit, but the statistics of it was just like it's too great that kids are saying that it has a negative effect on their mental health in general because all the things are being said, the bullying, the harassment, the crazy things that people are saying, the things that they're posting, it has no positive effects on any of their mental health at all. And they're the ones reporting this. And the scary part is that you can't even go on Roblox these days without one of these guys hiding in the shadows, like trying to take your kid or whatever. And it's creepy too, man. And it's just like it's nowhere safe to be. It's not safe to be anywhere anymore because you don't know what is what. And then what was it? Megan's missing. I got this conversation with somebody else we were watching. They were talking about showing people Megan is missing, and I'm like, why would you show this to some kid? Because it's not. This is not. This, I don't get what you're trying to achieve with this. Because the movie sets up as this girl who friends this guy. His camera doesn't work, and she's talking about meeting up with him or whatever. Like the typical thing we used to do. And she goes missing. Okay, so okay, cool. All right, get it. The end of this movie did not need to be shown to anybody else, and it was the kid getting sexually assaulted and everything else. And I'm just like, what is the purpose of this? Are you trying to traumatize these kids? Like, I get what you're trying to say with, hey, don't trust people on the internet unless you know that kind of thing. I get what you're saying there, but at the end of the movie, I don't feel like you needed to show it to them. But they were parents showing this to kids, and I'm like, what are you trying to get out of this? Like, I feel like you're having a negative effect showing them the rest of that movie. Like, I could see up to the point where the girl goes missing. Okay, cool, makes sense. Cool, movie's over. Don't show the rest of it for reasons that it should not be shown to someone under the age 18. But there's people out there showing it to him going, oh yeah, well, I showed it to him because I want him to understand the dangers in it. I'm like, yeah, you could, or you could have an actual conversation about after. Listen, I'm not going to show you the rest of it because it gets pretty graphic. You don't need to see what happens. Obviously your imagination can run with whatever you think is going to happen after that point. It's not good. But why would you show that to somebody? It's the one thing I kept thinking when I was watching it because I was like, I kept hearing people say it. So I went and watched it and I was like, nope, nope, we shouldn't be showing this rest of the kids. It's like,
But you know what, Pete? I call BS. Sorry, bro. This is why I don't like. I brush my teeth, and this is what causes this little. But I honestly, dude, I call BS on the whole
okay,
Instagram
okay.
being mental bullshit. Okay, bullying. Ooh, I'm being bullied on social media, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but
But you're just sharing your
you're
opinion. You're welcome to it here. You know that.
you're talking to someone who his mom would go to the secondhand store and buy him rollerblades, green, ugly color fucking rollerblades, right? Take off the wheels and turn them into shoes, regular everyday shoes. Second of all, 2 sizes too big. I was wearing fucking clown shoes to school. Green colored clown shoes. You know how much I got bullied and made fun of because of those fucking shoes?
I believe it. Yeah.
I'm still standing here. I She once sent me to the store, and you damn well know seventh grade and eighth grade are the worst.
Yep. Yep.
Eighth grade, she sent me to the store, and I bought these shoes called. I still remember they're white. They look like Nikes, but it said Loop, Loop. I had knockoff Nike shoes with the big fucking word Loop on them. You know how much the freaking my class clowned me, like made fun of me about my damn shoes? Back then, I have a very strict policy on haircuts. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but if your hair looks too long and I'm the one paying for it, we're gonna go get a haircut. So I have a haircut appointment with my barber once a month. No miss, nothing. My kids hate it. I see yours. You're every day. My kids hate that, but I'm sorry, but that's an OCD of mine. That's a trigger of mine. Having long
Yeah.
hair is a trigger of mine. Why? Because again, what do you call this? Maintenance. That was not a priority to my mother. So I went to hair. My wife sees photos of me as a kid. She's like, "Holy shit! I see why you hate long hair." I was made fun of for having long hair, and it wasn't even like a style. It was just poof, because I wouldn't go to get a haircut. Every time I got a haircut, it's because a family friend. Hey, I'm trying to learn how to cut hair. There's Andy. Use Andy. So I was made fun of a lot. In fact, I don't have it, but I lost it. My yearbook, my eighth grade yearbook.
Oh my
There was
God, that would have been great.
there was oh, there was a drawing. I have the photo. I have a friend that works for the school still and found my eighth grade photo, but that's it. But I had there was a drawing of a afro guy with an afro. It was just a cartoon, and on my yearbook, someone went and decided to put Andy, like that was me because of my hair, bro. I never took that as bullying. I just thought my friends were just being funny. I always laughed about it, like. But as you grow up and you realize, holy shit, that was a form of bullying. They were fucking bullying me. Dude. Okay, you already started with the
We don't
Cowboys.
have to talk about your Dallas Cowboys, okay,
You
sir?
haven't
Okay.
no, but you know how many ideas I got my ass I mean, how many times I got my ass kicked in high school for wearing cowboy gear in the wrong side of the town.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know
The
what I mean?
whole.
So never. Hey, I would go home with my shirt all fucking cut up and everything. What happened? I wore the wrong shirt to school again. Am I gonna stop? I love the team. It's what is there to say? And I not once ever thought I'm being bullied. Let me go, hang myself. Like I have other reasons why I almost ended my life, but to go back on bullying, like it took for me to be an adult to realize, shit, that was bullying. They were fucking bullying me, but I just took it as friends being friends. People nowadays, I'm sorry, kids nowadays are just too sensitive.
Okay, so I'm gonna argue on this point with you on that one. I don't think it's they're too sensitive. I think a lot of them are in tune to their emotions from some of them, but it's like, at that age you still really don't understand everything. That's why emotional regularity is really good. So they can better understand what they're feeling, for some people that, it comes off overly sensitive to people, like people that maybe empaths can feel it more than other people, and we don't know what the underlying issues some of these kids may have. I don't think it's they're too sensitive. I think okay, some of them are, yes, I agree. Some of them, if we all go look at like the Starbucks kid video where he's like, I have to work 8 hours
Yeah,
without a break. That thing, okay, I can see that's being over dramatized now. Some of the young guys I've met recently, though, they're really they got level headed guys, man. This one kid,
yeah,
he's years beyond his experience. So I don't really think it's they're too sensitive. I just think a lot of them are are figuring out their emotions at an earlier age. But if nobody's really explaining it to them early on how what they're feeling, they're still trying to figure out. So it comes out as that, but we got to remember, we grew up in the 90s, man, versus now. Like before, it was rough. And people just go, oh, you should watch some of the commercials from the 90s. You want to see some wild shit? Watch some of those. Okay, the things they got away with were just way different. Now everything's censored. You have all the different censorships, and oh, this is TV 14 and all these other things like that. So like your opinion is because you've been through the things and different than most people do. And you're not wrong to having your own opinion. I agree. Listen, I respect everybody's opinion. Like, listen, I said, man, Pete, you went through it rough, man. You got it rough. The stories you told me and the things that we've talked about on both the episodes we've been on, you know what I mean? It's like, I get it. Like, and anybody listening to this needs to understand that this is your opinion. Like, this is what you went through. You're not wrong for feeling this way. You know what I mean? And, that's the problem with social media, though. It's like the minute that something like that gets said, somebody's gonna be like, well, Andy's lying. He's making. No, Andy is just sharing his opinion, and his opinion matters. Listen, if you don't like his opinion, that's cool. That's a great thing about a debate. Debate him then. Talk to him. Andy will debate you all day about it. You want to talk to him? He respectfully will debate with you. He may piss you off eventually, but it's okay. Listen, that's just what happens. Somebody's going to get their feelings hurt at the end of the day, but don't judge people just because. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have your own experiences, and what you went through is different for, say, somebody else went through, and you'll notice that for a lot of people. Like when you say certain things to them, they just look at you. People tell you tell people stories about all the things your mom used to do, and they're just looking at you. Well, my mom did it. Okay, well, that's great. My mom did this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just come in, just and it's with social media. I think it's more when people start sharing things. Too many people have opinions. Like, it's cool to have an opinion, but people don't understand how to have a discussion. They want to argue about anything, or they want to attack people versus just having a straightforward conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, back
Yeah.
then, we didn't have that choice. It was, you had to go say this to somebody's face, call them on the phone. Hey, well, now you've got every which angle to hit them from. And now these guys hide behind their little pictures and everything else and say all these crazy things. And it's like, they don't want to debate. They just want to say like they want to be the most clickbait worthy type person. You know what I'm saying? Because everything's about clicks now, because
Yeah.
followers matter. All the traffic you get matters, and things that I'm learning as I'm going with the analytics of things you're watching, the traffic of people have and things like that as well. It's very interesting to see, how much we're so worried about having the fear of missing out, though, if you think about it, because like all the notifications go off on your phone. Like on my phone, I have like every notification. I turn them on silent eventually because it's just too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like these kids can get attacked from so many different angles, and I get that you didn't think that way, but a lot of these guys are getting hit from every angle. Like, it gets worse for them because sometimes they get away from it at school and then they go home and they're still being attacked at home. They're getting nasty messages. People are constantly, beating them down. And we don't know what their home life's like too, because everybody in line posts up a fake picture of, oh, my life's so great, this and that, da da da
Exactly.
da. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is left a question now. It's very cloak and daggerish. Like, everything is like what people want you to see. It's almost very, very covert narcissist like, because like they'll present everything as, oh, it's so great, but really in the back scene, the whole house is a fucking mess.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to what you said earlier about
Yeah, go ahead.
we just took care of it, right? Like
Yeah.
example, again, ninth grade. I look like you, right? I look white. Sorry, Pete's listeners, I'm Mexican, and I recall two kids, right? And they were
Mm-hmm.
bad mouthing me in Spanish, and I turned around and I said, "Hey, I know Spanish, and you guys need to knock that shit out." And they continued. So I turned around. Si quieren les parto su pinche madre cuando estemos afuera, right? Pretty much saying, if you want, we can take this outside after school and I'll beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
The lady that was, the one you go and check out your lunch and shit, spoke Spanish, and she knew me, and she was like, hey, are you okay, Andres? Amatos, these hijos de la chingada, these guys are talking shit. And she's like, and because she's Mexican too, and she, Mexicans stick together, she's like, do whatever you gotta do, just do it outside of campus. And to the other point about sensitive, right? Like the children today's nowadays. See, when people are saying that they're being abused or verbally abused or mental stress or whatever on social media, okay, maybe not the parent, maybe not the kids, right? Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't be so insensitive to the kids. But this is where the parents fall into play. You asked me about my kids having social media,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. We sit down on our kitchen table every night for dinner and we have a discussion as a family. How was your day? How was your day today? It was fine. No, we started these family conversations to have a conversation. It was fine is not a good answer. And we have a conversation. We sit there and we have a conversation. When the boys friends spend the night and they come over and we're having dinner, we include them in the conversation. And then we'll hear the next day, you guys do that every day? Every day. Why? Because my wife has a believing that a family that eats together stays together.
Yeah.
So we, you know, I believe, and I guess in a way we do our own little therapy session of how everyone's day was. How, now that my oldest is working, so now, hey, how was work? And like, dad, I love it, and but we dive into their problems. And I had a conversation with my son one day when he had his first little heartbreak, and I told him, like, kid, the one thing I want you to do is talk to me, because I didn't have that. And I don't know if we're going to get into this conversation, but I myself almost jumped in front of a train, and because of a heartbreak. And I told my son, like, good, look, kid, I think before it happened, before the heartbreak happened or anything, or I don't think even it happened, I told him, like, look, one day a girl is going to break your heart, and I'd rather you come to me and talk to me about this than doing something stupid. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, let's use me as an example. Would I be you were already born when I was trying to do something stupid, so would you have visited your dad at the cemetery? What would the gravestone say? Think about what it
Yeah.
would say.
It's a good question,
you
though. It
know
really is.
I rather the things say that he died of an old age and he was a great father, instead of, well, I didn't know my father because he was stupid enough to kill himself. you know why? Because I felt I had no one to talk to. And my brother listened to my podcast, and years later, and he was like, holy shit, dude, I didn't know you went through that. Yeah, because you guys weren't there to listen to me. You guys didn't give a shit about what I had to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so back to, I told him, I'd rather you talk to me than doing something stupid, because I'd rather have you here than not. As you can see, as an example, you know who your mom is, your biological mother is. He goes, oh, 100%. So you saw that after a couple years later, I found happiness. He goes, yes, you did, Dad. Okay. So I don't want you to ever feel you need to do something stupid. I'd rather you come talk to me. I'd rather you sit here and talk to me about your heartbreak. And my youngest went to a little heart. My youngest did go through a heartbreak, and one day he's like, Dad, can we go on a bike ride? And I was like, and I joked, I'm like, motherfucker, you want something, because nobody likes to go on a bike ride with Dad. Because I'll go on bike rides, bro. I live, for those, if you guys listen from California, I live where the 10 freeway and the 605 connect. I rode my bike all the way to the Queen Mary 3 times. That's about 2.5 hour bike ride. So my kids are like, they know that Dad goes on a bike ride.
Yeah.
So for him to say, Dad, can we go on a bike ride? I'm like, okay, that's weird. You want something? I just made the joke. So we're riding our bikes through town. I ended up going through town. We didn't go down the bike trail because the bike trail's been getting crazy with homeless lately.
Mm-hmm.
People have getting murdered. So I'm like, I don't want to take my son through there. I'll go through there. I won't take my son through there. So I took him to the city. We ended up like in Bowen Park, home of the very first In and Out trivia.
There you go. There you
And
go.
and we stopped at a park. I said, Dad, can we stop here? I'm like, yeah, mijo, what's going on? And it's like, he goes, you're right. I did want something. I'm like, what do you need? What do you mean? He was like, I wanted to go on a bike ride to talk to you. And I was like, what? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, mijo. The only thing that I did was fuck up and take him to the town where his fucking ex lived. He thought we were gonna go down the bike trail, which is better, right? So he's like, Dad, I can't sleep. She comes in my dream and everything. And I'm like I told him, from my personal experience, mijo, I hate to say this and I don't want to say it, but I hate to say this, but I learned to hate your mother a lot. I learned to hate her with a passion because of everything she put me through, and I needed to get over her. So I learned to hate her. I hate to give you this advice, mijo. I really hate giving you this advice, but it worked for me. I think like maybe a couple weeks later, maybe a month later, my son came up to me and said, Dad, you were right. I hated her. I hate her, and I don't have dreams about her anymore. I was like, fuck, okay, cool. He's not being suicidal. I'd rather him hate somebody than get suicidal. You know what I mean? It's his first little
Yeah.
heartbreak. And I told him, mijo, sad to say, it's not going to be the first one. I hate to
Yeah.
say
It
it, but
happens.
it's
Yeah.
not going to be the first one. It's not going to be the only one. And like, I'm going to tell you again, again, because all three of my kids are from the same mom. My wife sadly couldn't have her own children, and that's a conversation for another time. And so they all know how their mom is, you know. So it's like, yeah, no, Dad, we see that you obviously you're happy now. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, kid. Just this wasn't the one. It is what it is. You'll find the one. Sad to say,
Yeah.
some people find the one in their 70s. You know. So
Listen, stop hating those old geriatrics that are finding that love, man. Okay, better quit. Well, but I agree, though, man. It was hard, man. I remember my first heartbreak. It was tough. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," because we lived in a small town, so everybody knew. Like it was everybody knew your shit anyway. So it's like, "Oh, I heard you and so and so are not together anymore." Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. And that was my first serious girlfriend too, and it was just like it was devastating. Like I thought the world was coming to an end. So I get how he's feeling, and it's hard, like especially at that young age, you don't know, like you think the world's that's your world right there. It's like, bro, you're way too young to be just trying to tie yourself down. You might as well enjoy life, enjoy being a kid, enjoy being in your teens, your 20s, and then unless you find that one that you just undeniably connect with. Okay, I've seen it happen, it happens, but it's like just enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my advice to anybody. Is just enjoy life, man. Like don't worry about settling down. Like don't live with what ifs, because if you start living with, well, what if I did something differently? You're going to drive yourself insane after that.
yeah, like again, now that we're talking about ex girlfriends and stuff,
Here
uh,
we go.
I so I always say that in Spanish there's a saying, "Lo que no quieres vas a tener," meaning what you don't want, you're going to end up with. So again, the 20 plus years of verbal abuse, of beat
Yeah.
downs, of everything. I finally at like 22 years old, I finally had enough, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this shit no more. I'm telling you, my sister had more balls at 18 to bounce, and not just from the house, but out of the state. I give her props, man. I finally had enough, and my mistake was leaving with the person, the first girl that bat her eyes at me. That was my biggest mistake. Why? Because lo que no quiero voy a tener, meaning what I ran away from, I'm gonna end up with. And the mother of my kids ended up being just the same exact way as my mother. I first real relationship out of the house. We now have a daughter because she had a 4 month old when we got together. And
Okay.
so now I'm step-in dad. I'm stepping in. And I get the term now stepfather because I'm really stepping in. This child has known me since to be dad since day one. I was there when the child was born. I would go visit her when the child was like I said, when she first came. We were friends, bro. We were friends. And
Yeah.
I was there since day one. And within 9 months, homegirl cheated on me. Right? 9 months, bro. The part that killed me the most was it was with a 16-year-old. So it's like, fuck, am I not man enough? Fuck, what the hell?
How old is she though?
She
Reference? How old is
okay.
she?
She was 18 already.
Oh, okay, so it's not that bad then. I
So
was
she's
gonna
18
say I
or
was like the
16.
age difference is what I was looking for, but
But
yeah, I mean,
wait, there's
oh,
more.
here we go.
So within 9 months, she cheated on me, and she came home, and I'm at work. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know where she's at. She's not answering her phone. Whatever. I'm not paying attention, and I cut myself at work, and it was a nasty one. Luckily, no stitches, no nothing. And I'll explain what this means later on to you. I came home. Where the fuck were you? And my mistake was I slapped her. You know, I grew up around domestic violence my whole life. My mom was always getting her ass beat. I see why. It's not okay to do, but I see why.
Yeah, but you did wrong. That's what
No,
matters at the end of
100%.
the day.
I
Because somebody's gonna hear that and go, "Oh well, Andy." No,
No.
Andy knows he
Oh,
fucked up. He's
I'll get
admitting
there.
he fucked
I'll
up.
get there. I fucked
Okay.
up. I
Okay.
slapped her. I slapped her, and pretty much back to being in the honeymoon stage, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 8 months, a few months later, she's talking to this kid again. Like she found a way to talk to this kid again. And at this point, I'm not trying to hit her. I don't want to hit her. I want to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
She's blocking the door. She won't let me leave. And I pretty much shoved my way out. One of the neighbors calls me and says, I was about to go to work. One of the neighbors calls me. She says, hey, she called the police. And I'm like, fuck, all right. So I went and sat my ass on the curb. And I told the police. I called the police and I said, "Hey, the police is being called on me. I'm sitting on the curb at this address." They came up to me and they said, "Okay, what happened?" And I said, "Hey, I was trying to leave, and on my way out, I kind of shoved her out of my way. I would, like a shoulder check, just to get out. I don't want to be here anymore. She's, doing me dirty with the guy." So they were like, "All right." I mean, sadly, because of OJ Simpson, I have to arrest you. So I spent my very first 5 days in jail at 22 years old or 23 years old. The one place I always said that I would never go is jail. There I am in jail. Sadly, guys don't get arrested on a Friday because court is not 3 days later. So Saturday and Sunday don't fucking count. So I went to court on a Wednesday, and then they were like, "Hey, the charges are dropped. There's not a big deal. You guys both said the same story. I get it. Blah, done. All right, cool. I go home. Luckily, my boss was so cool and he loved me so much that he saved my job. He told him that I was sick, when in reality he knew exactly where I was at. I go to work and he tells me, "If you stay with this girl, you're gonna end up in there again." Young and stupid, I don't listen. October of 2000. So all this happened in 2004, beginning of 2005, maybe 2005, October 2005. It happens again. Now she's what, 19, and she meets a 15-year-old boy, and she's cheating on me again. The fuck, man? Like, seriously, again? And this time she's about to take off, and I know where she's going, bro. And she's taking her daughter with her. And I say, "Hey, you're not taking our daughter. You can go hold yourself around." I've accepted it. At this point, I've accepted it. Two cheats. Now this is the third one. Hey, I've accepted it. Go. You can go and knock yourself out, but don't take our daughter with you. She's like, "She's my fucking daughter." Oh. And I'm sorry, listeners. Yes, I fucked up and I clotheslined her. I WWE clotheslined her. And I took off. The cops were called, and the cops were called, and they went to my mom's house because they knew that that's probably where I was going to go. Again, my mom being a messy person. That's another reason. Another thing, my mom's a very messy person, that I was able to hide underneath all her dirty laundry. Cops came. I saw the fucking light shine in my face. Bro, they didn't see me. They didn't see me. I was hiding under a bunch of dirty laundry. They did not see me. Talked to my mom for a little bit, and I was like, I mean, I know I'm going to go to jail. It's going to happen. I was just saving myself a few minutes. And so I called the police. I'm like, "Hey, you guys already came to my mom's house. I was already here. You guys are more than welcome to come pick me up." And they picked me up. So I was fighting my case. I was in there for about 15 days. But this time it was no turning back. It was a felony because when she fell back, she hit her head on a toy. And
Oh
she was
no.
also a very messy person. There was shit everywhere. So she was also a messy person. So again, lo que no quiere. And so she ended up in the hospital. But the funny part, sorry to say it, when she was laying on the stretcher, her mom came up to her. She's like, "What did you do to Andy again? What did you do to Andy?" As she's laying in the stretcher. Why? Because her family knew I wasn't the fucking asshole. But it is what it is. I fucked up. I clotheslined her. I go to jail.
Yeah, but yet again, we're back to you. You took responsibility. I mean, you fucked up, so you took responsibility. I mean, which is rare at that age for anybody, like you just. But the fact her mom came up and said something, it just says a
Her
lot,
mom.
really.
Her
About they
mom.
knew about it. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. The fact that her mom came up
Yeah.
and said, "What did you do to Andy?" It's like she knew already that something had happened in this situation, that she was, doing something that was causing a
Yeah.
drama of some sort because she's cheating and she's.
Yep. So again, I mean, I catched the pattern. I knew where she was at. I knew where she was going because a couple of days before that, I got a word from a buddy of mine. "Hey, what are you doing in Santa Paula?" Santa Paula is another city in Ventura County. "What are you doing in Santa
Mhm.
Paula?" And I'm like, "I'm not in Santa Paula." He goes, "Well, your fucking car is down the street." I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" So I get my ride over there. There was no Uber back then. I get a ride to Santa Paula. I find my car and I take off. I took my fucking car, let her walk her ass home. So I knew where she was going when I clotheslined
Yeah.
her. So ended up going, like I said, went to jail. When I was with my mom, I gave her money. I had one of my paychecks and I gave her money and I said, "Hey, just bail me out." I don't know why it took fucking 15 days, but it took 15 days. I was bailed out, but there I go back. Because why? Because I'm in jail. She's over there. Oh, I'm so sorry. I love you and I want to be with you and blah blah blah. And I'm young and stupid. Here we go again. All right, cool, whatever. There I go again. So this is October of 2005. Come May of 2006, we start bickering a lot. We start fighting, and I at this point I catch on, bro. I know what she's doing. She's trying to get under my skin so I can leave, so that she can have her freedom. I'm, I've learned. I've caught on. Fuck this shit. I take off. I leave. I go to my mom's house. I'm doing whatever. This is a weekend. This is the same weekend that Superman Return came out. And actually, X-Men 3. And I'll get to the point of the X-Men 3. I am, I go watch, I'm at a friend's house. I think
Yeah.
one of the nights I went to go watch X-Men 3. And by myself, even though Google says that watching movies by yourself in the movie theater is pathetic, but I mean, hey, I went and did it. And, receipt was in my back pocket. Next morning, I'm at a friend's house, and a good friend of mine, met her in college. Police show up to her house, and the cops get there and they touch the hood of the car, and they figure the car's still warm. I just got there. I wasn't there for a while. The mother of my kids called the cops, and she's still hot. They're pretty much saying I just left her house and came here. So I get arrested, especially because I'm on bail. I get arrested in front of my friends. My friend, it's fucking embarrassing getting arrested in front of your friend. And I give her the key to my car, and I say, just tell my mom to pick up the car, and so it won't be here in your driveway. And sorry you had to see this. Arrested me in front of my friend. All right, boom, back to jail. Now I'm fighting my case. There is no bailing out, because why? You were already on bail and you fucking fucked up again. But this time, Pete, I didn't lay a hand on her. I
Yeah.
promise you guys, I didn't lay a hand on her.
Because you were at the movie, though, remember? Because that's where you were. So did you not have the ticket stub to prove it?
At the moment, I don't think about that, right?
Okay,
So,
yeah, no, I get that
yeah,
completely.
at the moment, I don't think about that. We go to jail. Like I said, I go. Remember, again, the movie was Sunday, I think or Saturday, and then the whole I beat her bullshit was on Sunday. So
Yeah.
it was 2 different days. Again, I'll get there. I go to jail. This time there is no bailing out, and I'm in there. They put me with the criminals. We're talking hardcore criminals because it was a violent crime. So I wasn't very liked in there, bro. And I'll get to that in a minute. Why? And again, why? Because I look white. So I go to jail, and my public defender is stating, "You're looking at prison time." Like, why? Because you threatened to kill her. Sorry if I said that. You threatened to unalive her. And I was
You're
like,
fine. You can say however you want to in here. This is our space to talk about
and
this. But no, you're right.
I was like, I did what now? Yeah, you threatened to kill her. So I'm fighting my case on going to prison and everything. And it was like maybe now we're in there for 5 months, Pete.
Yeah.
My fourth month, we go to court again, and then they're trying to still push me on the prison shit bullshit. And I'm sorry, month three, they're still pushing the prison shit. And I tell my lawyer, you know what, man? By then my mind is clear. I'm chill. I'm not saying I enjoy jail, but I'm at peace. Listen to those words. I'm at peace. My Sadly, my grandma came to visit me one day from El Paso, Texas. She came to visit me, bro. My buddy Frank will come visit me. My brother came to visit me. She visited me a couple times with the kids, with my daughter. So I got to see my daughter, and so I'm at peace, bro. Like, I'm not stressing out. Sad to say, the jail was my fortress of solitude. You know what I mean? And so third month, I mentioned to my product. By then, I mentioned to my product defender, I'm like, hey, do you have access? Because by then the report's coming out and the details are coming out. She's stating that you threatened her on Saturday at this time. If you go to my personal belongings in my back pocket, oh, I'm sure they took it out by now, but in my back pocket was a receipt to this theater downtown Oxnard where I went and watched X-Men 3. I can tell you how that movie ended, and I can spoil it for you right now and tell you how that movie ended. And he was like, I can quote you the movie if you like. No, there's no need for that. Month 4, we go back to court, and he shows, Your Honor, it's impossible for my client to have made the threat because at this time he was watching a movie. He can quote you the movie if you like. And so they dropped the felony, but they were still fighting on the domestic, right? So I think they set me up because uh, at that time, my daughter, they let her in the courtroom and she starts crying, "Daddy, daddy, daddy, bro." And I fucking started bawling. And
Yeah.
the night before, I had just read a Bible quote that said, "The truth shall set you free." So when my daughter walks in the room and starts crying, I did it. Obviously, why am I fighting the domestic violence? I hit her. Now I am not going to prison. Now I'm willing to accept the punishment of what I did back in October. I did it. I did it. Because they were trying to get me for cruelty to a child because that clothesline happened in front of my daughter. And I took cruelty to a child as I hit the child too when I never hit the child. It just happened in
Yeah.
front of her. So I was trying to fight the case of I didn't want that cruelty to a child. And the truth will set you free, man. I owned up to it, and they told me, okay, you go home in a month. Pretty much most of it was time served.
Yeah.
You go home in a month. I end up right back at her with her, bro. I almost want
It's
to
just a
cry.
pattern.
Fuck.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's a vicious pattern that
I
a
I
lot of us
grew
go through.
I grew up with that shit all my life, so it's like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And we ended up again honeymoon stage and shit like that. But wait, there's more. Now I get released in October of 6 honeymoon stage. I made the mistake of sticking it where it didn't belong. August of 7, my son is born. Again,
Yeah.
we have no biological children together at this time. My son is born. My son had to have been 2 months old when she starts talking to somebody. All right, cool. Maybe a few months later, I start catching on. It's sadly that it took a few months. I start catching on. Now, wait a minute. Something's going on. So one day she shows up. I'm visiting my mom, and she knows where I'm at. So she pulls up, and she drops off the children, and it's always both kids, bro. It's always both kids. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter is always included, and my son. And then my brothers are down there with me, and I tell them, hey, can you guys take the kids upstairs? Because I saw a look from an individual, and I was like, can you take the kids upstairs? All right, they took the kids upstairs, and I went up to this individual. I'm like, yo, are you pissed off that your girlfriend didn't say hi? Again, now I'm suspecting it. Now I'm 100%. I'm 80% sure that this is going on. Hey, you're mad because your girl didn't say hi? Oh, F you, man, and blah, blah, blah. We start fucking throwing it down. We start fucking fighting, bro. Full on fist, left and right. He ends up, at that time that we're throwing it down, why is the mother of my kids pulling back up around? So you went out into the main street, looped it around, and came back into the alley. Why? That individual was my 15-year-old brother. At the time, she's 22. She gets in as we're fighting, she gets in front of me to protect me from what he's about to do because he finds his fucking pipe and he swings it at me and I use it to protect her and it hits me right here. Pain for 3 months. Luckily, thank you, milk, never broke a bone. He hit me hard, bro, and that pipe bent. So this is what I'm suspecting. This is the bullshit that I'm suspecting. Like this is what's going on, and this is BS, right? I'm done. Like I said, I'm at this point. I'm done. I go and stay by myself. I go rent this little room. A buddy of mine hooks me up with the room. I'm staying in this room. I pick up my kids whenever. I have my little freedom, and the mother of my kids and my own mother get arrested. They get arrested because they decided to team up together to rob a fucking gas station. Sorry, triggers to you. They rob a gasoline station. The mother of my kids is working at the gas station and she's putting money in her bag. Then my mom gets two friends to come over. This is all over the papers, bro. It's embarrassing that my grandma saw this shit. And she sends two friends to go and rob the store. Rob the store. Why? Because the mother of my kids is putting money on the side, right? She's not putting it in the safe like she's supposed to. So they had wads of cash because they would rather rob a gas station than come talk to Andy for help. So when they're both in jail, that's when obviously all the truth comes out. Yeah, she's sleeping with your brother and everything like that. One of my brother and I take pretty much all the kids. We find out that this wallet exists with over $1,000 in it because the mother of my kids was putting money in it. So I go find said brother, and I'm like, give me that fucking purse. Give me that purse. He gives me the purse. I use that money to go get a fucking down payment on an apartment.
I mean, I don't blame you though, because you're finding your brother is hooking up with your girl, and it's like you were right all along though. So like
Yeah,
you in that moment, you felt like, you were justified because it's like, well, fuck you, dude. You're over here doing. We're supposed to be family, and you're hooking up with my girl. You should have not
yeah.
even entertained this.
But before that, obviously, when I'm suspecting this, right? When I'm going through my emotions, my feelings, and everything, again, everyone always says when you're going through a dark time, you're not alone. Okay. In my case, I felt alone. My mom kept away from family, so I
Mm-hmm.
had no idea who to talk to. I couldn't vent to my grandma. I didn't want to tell her that. She's an old lady. I don't want to tell her that I'm being suicidal. I didn't have the number to my brothers that lived in Texas. I didn't, like I said, I'm sorry, my wife, mother of my kid, my mother, to her mentality was, we're our family. No cousins, no aunts, no uncles, no nothing. And now that I'm an adult, I hear stories. But so I didn't have someone because just a couple of days before that, I'm in tears. I think I'm like 23 years old and I'm crying to my mom, bro. I'm in fucking tears. And I asked her, what did I do as a child for you to hate me so much? Because I'm getting wind that my mom is covering for them. My mom,
Oh no.
the same person that said this bitch is not good for you, is now covering for the golden boy and the mother of my kids. So I'm going through a dark time, bro. I lived upstairs. We stayed upstairs, and the bottom of the apartment downstairs, the fence had spikes, and I always thought about it. Will that kill me if I jump on that? You know.
Yeah.
My mom even went and got like a tarot card reading at one point, and they even told her your fucking son wants to end his life. Didn't stop her. Didn't stop her. Oh, tarot card reading. What finally put the proof that my mother of my kids and my brother were sleeping together was tarot card reading. Again, all that before the robbery, before the $1,000. I was talking to a friend. She was a friend of the family, and I went and got my cards read.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
I never fucking do it again because everything she fucking said came true. She told me that she knew that I had hit the mother of my kids, and I'm like, oh great. She also told me that I was going to have another kid. She also told me that I was going to have another kid with her. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, oh, fuck, I hit a pregnant person. You know what I mean? In my mind. And she did tell me, like, she is sleeping with someone close to you. I was like, fucking it. Everything this lady, she did say that at one point later on in life, in a long future from now, you and her will get along. No joke. 3 years ago, we were having conversations like nothing ever happened, like the friends that we once were.
Yeah.
I, so again, that was what I needed to hear. That yes, she's messing with my brother. Anyways, so I'm going through some dark times. Again, for those of you that know Oxnard, if you live in Oxnard, I was just there recently and I started getting flashbacks. I think we talked about it last time.
Yeah. A little bit we did.
I started getting flashbacks of that corner, that intersection of Fifth Street and Rose, where I started walking towards. I started walking towards the train. There it came. The train's coming. I felt the wind of the train in my face. That guy is honking that fucking horn, but I have music on. I don't care. I don't hear shit. My goal is to just end this shit. I'm done.
Yeah.
Over a girl, bro, you know. And I say something. I never say someone. I should probably say someone, but I always say something tugged me back. And I stopped myself from doing what I was about to do. I turned back. There was no one there. That same day, she tells me that she's pregnant. And I'm like, oh shit, well, is it my kid or is it homeboy's kid? But then that lady did say that I was gonna have another kid. So now I'm like, this is my kid. You know what I mean? People that I told that story to, they're like, dude, your son was your guardian angel. If you don't believe in guardian angels, you gotta believe in him now because your son saved your life. Your son pretty much told you, Dad, I need you. something tugged you back and you turn around, nothing there. It was because that same day I looked up and I said, okay, I believe in you. I believe God. What do you have plans for me? You know what I mean? And we, fuck, bro. She goes to jail. We get the apartment. We use that money that she pocketed to house my sister, two, three, four, five, fuck, six of my siblings, bro. Because the other one ended up going to jail. The one that she was messing around with ended up going to jail because I guess he tried to go rob someone to go bail her out. Oh, dude, my family's a fucking clusterfuck, bro.
Oh, Jesus.
He went to go rob somebody, beat someone up to try to take their money to go bail her out. He didn't go bail his own mom out. He went to go bail her out. You know?
Isn't that funny, though? Because she's the one that was covering for him the whole time. It's like, well, I'm going to leave you in here, Mom. You gave me an alibi, so I'm going to go get her instead. And I know that when we talked last, we'd covered your relationship with your mom it still rocky, you know, and then how she tried to approach your sons.
Yeah.
And, you know, we discussed that whole thing,
Yeah.
which I thought, you know, was like, you know, it's the right way because you're like, you know what, I'm going to let you all feel how you guys want to feel about this kind of thing. But that's wild though, because he's like, oh, I'm gonna go rob somebody just to get her out. But, you know, Mom, you're the one that covered me with Andy the whole time, trying to protect me in the whole thing. You know, yeah.
Well, like I said, we use that money, and again, the thing about my mom is that she always made friends with people because she benefited from those friendships. So I went and found this lady that owned apartment complexes and shit. And I told her, hey, I need a place to stay with my kids, with my siblings. I have my own kids, and here's a deposit, whatever. Both of us are working. Us older ones are working. We can take care of the rent. Dude, no hesitation because she knew who we were. She went and rented us an apartment. So mother of my kids is in jail. I'm living the life. And she gets out of jail pregnant, and now I'm like, you guys got this? Because I have my own family to take care of. And I walked out again to go be with this fucking individual that was probably going to end up killing me. And this time, let's try family again, because this time you are pregnant, and until I see the child, I'm dead. Child is born. Kid looks just like me. My brother is tall, dark, and handsome, what they call. All right. I'm not tall, dark, and handsome. The handsome part I got, but. So bad, breaking my neck. It's a sign of respect, that's a nice for death, but never dies. The price of the checks, I got my integrity and my word.